Hey, Travis, just a couple of other points. Jay Beagle looked like he blocked a shot last game on his hand. Is he good to go tomorrow?
He's fine, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. We'll wait for the questions to filter through. Okay, Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Yeah, Travis, on Toffoli, not going to ask you to elaborate on anything, but just not having him in the lineup, how does that impact your team in general, what you expect from your guys at all?
Well, we've gone through, I think, 3 games now without him. So I thought our guys adjusted well, bumped Besser up, put Louis back in, won 3 games. So it's not really an issue that we're talking about right now. Obviously, we want him back when he's ready to go, and we'll welcome him back when he is. But it's not like it just happened last game and we're sitting here talking about it a lot. It happened a bit ago. So we say it a lot, but next man up, and that's the way our team has gone about it.
Next up, we have Ian McIntyre, sportsnet.ca.
Hi, Travis. How much more comfortable, if at all, do you think your team is mentally going into this series, having experienced the first series?
I think they're more comfortable. Anytime you win, that'll help. Not to mention the way we won, losing the first game, bouncing back. I think openly admitting that a couple players were probably a little nervous to start that game. Yeah, our guys are feeling good about themselves. They're excited to play the game, get going tomorrow, and I'm sure St. Louis is as well.
Next up, we have Jeff Patterson, TSN 1040.
Just sort of further to that, Travis, I mean, one of the big storylines coming into this was how many of your guys had no playoff experience whatsoever. How much of a baseline is a 4-game series and a series like that against, Minnesota that made you work for everything that you guys earned?
What's the question, Jeff? Sorry, just
a week ago, you guys had no experience, right? And
Right.
that was sort of the storyline. How much of a baseline is 4 games? Like, you can't say you guys have none now, but how much of a baseline is 4 games of experience in a series as hard and physical as that one was against Minnesota?
Well, I think it's helped us for sure. Minnesota is a kind of a grinding physical team, heavier bodies throughout their lineup. I thought our team fared well against that and learned a lot as they went through the series. I think they'll be able to take that with them to the next series, and we're facing another team that everyone knows all about. There's no secrets how they play. When you win a Stanley Cup, everyone watches you for a long time. So I think it should help us for this series. It's going to be a good test, a hard test, a good challenge, which I've said it many times. When our team is challenged, you find out a lot about your group, and I know that our team's excited to play, and I'm excited to play as well.
Next up, we have Jackie Spiegel.
Hi, Travis. I was just curious in regards to overtimes. I know your overtime only lasted 11 seconds the other night, but what challenges as a coach does it bring to have to coach an overtime? And is there a difference this year because of the long layoff between the regular season and now?
I don't think so. I think once you get to overtime, you're throwing a lot of things out the window and just trying to win. We talked about our game individually as a group that it's overtime, but we're not going to change our game. And there's a good chance it's going to be a goal that's just a goal that's around the net. And we wanted to play aggressive to start. And that's kind of our mindset a lot of times anyway. So we didn't want to change the way we played. Did want to get everyone involved. I think you got to be careful on minutes at this time of the year. We ran a short bench as it was that night to get it into overtime. So in my mind, I was prepared to play all 4 lines right from the start.
Back to Ben Kuzma.
Hey, Travis, Ryan O'Reilly talked about Bo being an absolute beast in the circle. He dominated the season series. And you guys have been just great overall, whether it's been Bo, JT, Beagle, or Sutter. We get so fixated on goals and goaltending and special teams, but puck possession and shutdown is huge. How much of an advantage do you think you have in this series, in the face-off circle?
I mean, we're playing a veteran group that has a lot of good centermen as well. You know, you look at their guys, they've been in the league a long time. Shen, Bozak, O'Reilly. You know, those guys are veteran guys that understand, and I know we do have a good face-off team, so it will be a good battle in that area. And those little battles are they're important. Obviously, face-offs, it's better to start with the puck than without it. And at this time of year, it's all those little things that add up at the end of the night.
Back to Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Yeah, Travis, sorry, I wanted to, one of the things with this format is you don't get to clarify a question, if you know, about Toffoli. What I really meant to ask was, he's a guy with a ton of playoff experience. You're facing a team with a ton of playoff experience. So we know he's not in the lineup, hasn't been, you were able to win without him. But how does that impact you now, not having that playoff experience, not having that guy, even if it's just on the bench against a team like St. Louis that has all that experience? Does it impact you?
We miss him. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say we don't miss him. And yeah, when we traded for him, we knew what we were getting. But again, we're not going to dwell on it. We would love it to have him healthy and in the lineup for sure. He played great for us last year when he got here. I have no doubt he would have played well right now. You know, he's played a lot of playoff games, but also in saying that it's not something we're dwelling on now, and we will welcome him back when he's ready to go.
Back to Ian McIntyre.
Hey, Travis, just a couple of quick things, and I'll hit you with them both at once. Have you talked to Tyler Myers about the penalties or the amount of penalties he has taken, and is Oscar Fantenberg fit to play?
You're getting smart on these Zoom calls. Figuring out that I can shut you out right away with a quick answer. Yeah, I've talked to Mizey, you know, a few times. He's not a guy that's known for taking a ton of minor penalties, and he's a big guy. We're asking our team to ramp up our compete level. I actually have watched all his penalties, and you know, it's hard for the refs. It's not easy. Do I think he should have 9 minors right now? No, I don't. Do I think he's playing a big man's game and being physical around our net? I do. And it's a fine line. But I also think there's been a couple calls that I think if the refs got to see them again, they might call them back. But you can say that about a lot of calls. And it's a hard game for the refs to ref now with how fast it is. And Mizey knows that he's got to find a way to stay out of the box. He can't continue to take that many. But again, I don't want him just not playing physical. He's got to play physical. He's got to be big in front of our net. And I think he's been unlucky with a couple calls. Fantenberg skated today. Looks pretty good. We'll see how he is tomorrow.
Next up, we have Jay Janauer, Global.
Travis, how are you?
I'm great, Jay. How are you?
I'm very well. I got a 2-part question for you, my friend, so you can't give me the short answer.
We'll see.
Yeah. At what point, Travis, did you find that your team was actually really comfortable in the bubble and had adjusted to that life? I know winning changes everything, but was there something special that you guys did, or was it just from the get-go that they were in the playoff mode?
No, I think it was right away. Our guys like hanging out with each other. It's very comfortable here. We've got a lot of space. Our guys get along very well, and I felt like they were all in right away.
Second part to the question: was there a point in the series against Minnesota where you knew, where you didn't have to say any of those guys that they were in it to win it and to move on to the next round? Was there a goal? Was there something said in the dressing room? Any particular time where you say, you know what, these guys are in it?
I felt they were in it from the second we stepped into Edmonton. Never had a doubt about that. Felt like game 1 was a tough loss for our group with the build-up. A lot of talk about it. More so than a regular playoff. You're talking about it for months that you're playing Minnesota. You know it's a short series. I felt our team dipped a little bit the next day when we had a day off and we didn't skate. Kind of kept them, had a few meetings that day with the group. And I thought they bounced back very well. And but I've never had a doubt for a second with our group. I don't now. They are They've got a lot of belief in themselves, and the series is going to be a tall order, tough task, but starts with your belief and believing that you're ready to go and you got a chance to win. And I don't have any doubt about that with our group.
Next up, we have Tom Timmerman, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Coach, you're talking about being comfortable there in the bubble. I saw where the league offered you guys a chance to, between rounds, to move hotels, to go to the Marriott. Some teams did. You guys stayed there. What went into that decision?
Truthfully, it was the way it works here is your seating dictates kind of how much room you get, how much space you get in each hotel. It's not the same for every team. With the way we're seated here, we have a lot of space, and our players are enjoying it right now. If we would have went to the other hotel, we would have been not as much space, and our guys wanted to play another round here. As simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
And we have a final question from Joey Kenward.
Hi, Travis.
Hey, Joe.
As good as your penalty kill was in that series with Minnesota, I don't think any team in the league in the qualifiers took more shorthanded situations than your team. Saying that, do you have to preach discipline now, knowing the further you go, power plays get that much more magnified, or is that now even as big a talking point as you'll ever have with your group?
We talked about it. We talked about it a few times. I felt there's a lot of penalties called both ways that series. Both teams were playing physical. As far as penalties that were taken that were unnecessary, there was a few. I think you might see that a little bit with young guys. I'm never going to give a guy, as far as yell or get mad at a player, you've got to use them as teaching moments. It's also, understand that it's an emotional time of year that some of these guys haven't been in before. But there's certain types of penalties that you want to stay away from. And we talk about that a lot. It's not like we just sat there and tell our team to take as many penalties as they want and don't worry about it. I think every coach is preaching discipline at this time of year. And we're no different. But, there are some games where there was 7 penalties each team and, the refs were calling it very tight. And then there's seen other games where there's not. And I want our guys to play physical. I want them to play hard, especially at our net. I want them to battle to get to the net at the other end. And it's a fine line. And I think you saw a couple times where maybe our youth, caused us to take a few penalties in times that we wouldn't normally. I expect us to learn from that. But as far as talking about it, we do. We talk about a lot of things with our group, discipline being one of them. And again, I think every coach in the league is probably talking about discipline when it comes to playoff hockey and how important special teams are.